What is up and welcome back to Voodoo. If you've been watching our channel, then you've seen enough of my face. We have brought some special guests here today to talk about women in the car scene. Eric, Mr. Boost Scientist. No, I'm just kidding. We got Bree and Cowpow here to talk about this. Now, Bree is a good friend of Voodoo. She's been to a couple of events with us, but she comes from the health and fitness world. So she'll introduce herself in a second. And then Callie here is a full-fledged car girl. She was just talking about her recent experience out on the racetrack and has a handful of cars in her driveway. Callie and I are actually in competition of who can stuff more cars in their drive at home look more like Fast and Furious. So really quick before we go on, so I don't do all the talking here, tell us who you guys are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Bree. I'm an integrative health practitioner, business coach, model, and Instagram influencer.
Amazing. And Miss Callie.
I am COO of a lifestyle company, CMO of a e-commerce company, and then CMO of a rally company.
And since you're a car girl, what do you whipping? What do you drive around?
Porsche GT4. I have a G80 M3 on order. The Audi is my daily, and then a Jeep Rubicon on 37s.
And for those of you who don't know, this is Mr. Boost Scientist.
I'm an influencer. I have an OnlyFans.
Mr. Boost Scientist is head of the Voodoo design side of things over here. And this is his beautiful 570. And let's just jump right. Those are your guys.
Those are my guys. Always working. Always working.
The question is just going to be really simple. Like, what is your perspective as a female at car events when you go to car shows? Because we have a lot of them in SoCal. As somebody that is fairly new to this, has been going with Voodoo a lot lately.
Yeah, so I'm not from LA, I'm from Canada, and my hometown does not have a lot of supercars, so going to the show, being able to see all the supercars was really interesting. And I went with Will and Eric here from Voodoo, and so they're really great men, and I had a great time.
And you run in some supercars too. What have you been in so far?
I don't know.
This one.
The fancy one.
We did this one. Did a Performante.
Yep,
We did a
Lambo.
GTR. Of the three, which was your favorite?
Don't. It's this one.
That one was fun. He let me drive that one. It was fun.
Okay, all right. So the 570 wins of the three. Sorry, Performante. Callie, you have been to at least 2 or 3 car shows.
I think only like 2.
What do you do at these car shows? Like, what is it like?
I never go by myself because it's always super awkward, like pulling up alone, and then usually go on a drive after.
Callie and I were at a car show. It was Cars and Coffee in Malibu. And something happened because you were there with one of your other car girlfriends.
Oh my.
Please.
A certain person who has a very popular YouTube channel saw my car and saw me get out of it, and then was talking about it on his podcast about how he saw an influencer model get out of a car that wasn't hers with a roll cage in it, and that she didn't know what it was for and didn't use it. Okay, this is why I hate everybody.
So this kind of stuff, it's not the first time that it's happened. Okay, so M340, if he showed up in that
I
car.
would never show up in that car.
Okay,
But that
okay.
being said,
Listen, it was my first car.
If I showed up in a car with a roll cage, nobody would give it another look.
Nobody would question anything. If one of you guys did, they'd be like, why do you have a roll cage in your car, Bree?
I think it's mainly just like the assumptions, because usually like the top like 3 would be like, oh, it's daddy's money, oh, she like doesn't know anything about cars, or like, oh, that could like that there's no way that that's her car, she doesn't know how to drive it.
Bree tells me not to call her a car girl. She's not a car girl. Bree's health and wellness, health fitness expert would be appropriate title, yeah. So she comes from a world that I'm trying to learn more about. Callie is a car girl. So where do you learn all the stuff that you know now?
My dad likes to think he knows things about cars, but he did teach me a lot. Like when I was little, we would watch like Jay Leno's Garage and stuff like that together, mostly just through experience.
You have quite the background in cars too. Where did your whole journey start?
Holding my dad's flashlight at like
Getting yelled at.
5 years old, getting yelled at.
Getting yelled
yeah,
at,
or
for sure.
getting
Do we all have the same
getting a
dad?
rent auto shop in high school. I mean, it's the typical guy shit. There's so little women involved in our industry. You know, we just gotta take care and respect the ones we got. The race community, I think, is a little bit more welcoming to the female enthusiast. Whereas the car show community, at least in my opinion, a girl shows up and you got 50 guys with cameras trying to follow them, trying to talk to them, trying to hit on them.
But haven't you told me like you can't even walk down the street without stuff like that happening in LA?
I carry pepper spray with me.
Oh my goodness. So like you don't even have to go to a car event for this kind of stuff to happen.
No.
You have a little rant list. Let us know.
I have like a whole list,
Let
but
us
we don't
know
have enough time.
some
for
of the
that.
highlights. Just give us like the top one that comes to mind.
Pulling up to meets, I feel like what you were saying is like it's very competitive. So like if it is like another like guy that's like very insecure, they'll be like, oh, it's daddy's money, stuff like that. Or you get like the weird guy where you can't even like get out of your car yet, and they're like already like on top of you, and they're like, hi. Like I love talking to people and having like people come and ask questions, but like when it gets creepy, I'm like, I gotta go. On Sunday at the Cars and Coffee in Malibu, like this guy like literally entered my vehicle, like was in my window, like trying to get my number. And I was
Wait,
like, I'm
what?
gonna roll my window up on your head.
Okay, cross that one off the list, Eric.
Well, no, it's only because 2 girls show up to a meet with 5,000 guys, and so all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my god, a girl! And there's that scene right out of Euro Trip where it's like,
because I get to shoot amazing models like these two, and I like to bring them to these meets in the Mustang. Now, I can fit 3 girls in the Mustang, and I used to go to shows with full Mustang. I was there just to introduce them to the car scene, and other guys had other motives, and it was so easy to see it because you could just read it on the girls' faces. And there was one time I was heading to my Mustang, had a couple girls with me, and this other YouTuber walked up with his little entourage and then asked us what our plans were later. And I said, all right, we're going to get sushi, you know? Well, he said, oh, if you guys are going to sushi, then we should all go to Nobu. He goes, why would you ever go to that trash place? We can go to Nobu in the McLaren. And the guy kept pushing, and then he asked if the girls wanted to come meet him after our crummy sushi stop over at his house out in Malibu. And I was like, no, we don't want to do that either. So it was just, it was relentless. Just kept pushing and kept trying to use Nobu and Mansion and McLarens to like basically win over girls. And it just like, it was cringy to watch.
You invited me to a rally and it was super last minute.
Long tail rally, baby.
Everybody's like talking to me and they're like, who is this girl? Like, blah, blah, pulling up in her daddy's Porsche in these heels. I was in the front 3 like the whole time, and I passed our good friend Steve, and
Good old Steve and his 812.
in his 812, and I'm in my little flat 6, and almost everybody that was in supercars came out and they were like, oh my god, like I was not expecting you to be driving like that, let alone keeping up with us. And then they were like, holy shit, it's a manual. And then they're like, oh my god, you're in 5-inch heels, like what are you doing?
Oh, where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Instagram at Callie Moldovan. I'm in like the LA area, so basically any car meet in that area, I'm there every weekend.
And Miss Bree, where can they find you?
On Instagram at Bre.LeBlanc1, wherever Will brings me, and with Voodoo somewhere.
Somewhere near the red 570. Okay, guys, that pretty much does it for today's episode. Remember, we drop videos every single Tuesday and Thursday. TT, that's Twin Turbo. You can remember it. If you haven't clicked the notification bell, I remind you at every single video you are failing your homework assignment. And we will catch you at the next episode. Peace.